let me take I hate to use this term, devil's advocate side,
Okay.
the opposite side. When you see a person who has some mental problems, crazy, how do you know whether that's demon possession or whether that's a mental illness?
That's a great question, and we don't always know. But I know that 99.9% of the time, the so-called experts won't even consider the possibility of it being demonic. And I think we need to not discount the possibility that it is. Because I've had many people come to me. In fact, last year at Lipscomb, an elder from East Tennessee came to my booth crying and telling me that he had an autistic grandson. They'd never had any improvement. He was severe, and when they staked out his house, they saw huge improvement this year, and he was very thankful, hugging me and crying. I had a teacher who heard me speak in Tulsa at the Tulsa workshop years ago who bought some steaks there and took them to her classroom in Little Rock, and she couldn't tell anybody because she'd get fired, but she hid them in the four corners of her classroom, and she called me in 2 weeks, and she said, I teach severely handicapped children. In fact, this year, 2 of the boys in the class have an IQ of 50. They can only count to 4. They know some other numbers, but they can never get them in sequence. And she said, I want you to know that now that I've staked out that classroom and I read the verses out loud and prayed, like you said, they count to 100 every day. And I wish I could tell their parents, but I can't because I might get fired. Another teacher in East Tennessee bought some steaks because she teaches high school science, and the other guy who teaches high school science next door to her is an atheist, and he's aggressive in his atheism. Every day at the end of the school day, he would leave his room and come into her room while she's getting ready for the next day and make fun of her for being a Christian. Or he would make fun of God, or he'd make fun of the Bible. And she said, I wanted to see how this would affect him. So I quietly got the steaks from you, and I hid them in the four corners of my classroom. This one's behind the file cabinet, that one's behind the trash can, that one's behind my desk, and that one's behind the potted plant. Nobody knows they're there. The next day, he walks in, he gets a funny look on his face, he turned around, and he ran out. He won't come in my room anymore. He hollers at me from the hallway, but he won't set foot in my room. Now, I can't explain that, except I'm going to tell you God's word is still powerful. God still can. He's still on the throne, and prayer still works.